All right. What I'm going to do is bring Megan Dosher to the table. Meg Bavaro just finished a phenomenal, great presentation. There's a lot of new words out there. I'm just going to throw it out there: duration, coupon, maturity, yield, credit, equality, curve, alpha. There's bond. There's a lot out there, and so I hope a lot of these new terms, if it's the first time you've heard it, just start getting used to it. I think it's like you got to hear 7 times before it sinks in or whatnot. But just to get this kind of exposure from such a bright woman like Meg Bavaro. So I'm really, really excited. And for those of you out there, there's the stock market, there's the bond market, there's the cash market, and there's insurance and annuity market as well. So there's almost, and we could talk about alternatives, but really 4 big asset classes that you can choose to invest your money. And the stock market is, if this is a stock market, we got the bond market that's about 5 times as big in size and money. And so one of the reasons Women's Symposium wanted to throw down with bonds first is it is the biggest investment market in the world. So without further ado, we're going to take some Q&A from the audience. I have some prepared for you ladies, and thank you for sharing some notes. If anyone else has some questions, just go ahead and text them in the stage chat or in the Q&A chat. But the first one we got was for Megan Dosher. So Megan, you touched on the pay gap difference between men and women. How can this be addressed? And do you have any talking points to get the conversation started?
Yeah, well, that's a great question. And it is eye-opening. And I will say the good news is a lot of conversations are being had very actively across industry at the right levels. So that's the positive thing. I think all of us as women can do our part to advance the conversation. What we're starting to see are what are called pay audits. So driving transparency between who's getting paid what at what level, and just having that added transparency fuels the right conversation. So there's those, you see it now, like some companies are talking about posting salaries at each job level. And as leaders of teams, it's definitely challenging to manage because all, things aren't created equal, but it is a step in the right direction, having that transparency. I think the other piece that more and more companies are talking about with their HR partners are the family leave and flexibility upon return. So a lot of what I think we've all probably seen is what is it like once you leave to take care of a sick parent or child, right? Like, can you balance and do it all? That famous, like, do it all saying, right? And more flexibility will help women make the choice and make it seem doable that they can stay in the workforce and not step away from that income, which over time will cause the gap to widen. And I think, there's 2 other things we can do. Make sure we're increasing access to childcare and the quality of childcare. So more and more women feel like, their children are being taken care of and they can enjoy a thriving career. And not making the decision to leave the workforce altogether to raise their children. There's that, happy medium. And then just continuing to develop in female talent so that women are getting the exposure and additional experiences to take on those higher jobs that are paid more. So those are just a few things that are very active conversations across industry groups. And I can say at many of the financial services companies that are going on right now. It's a great question, though.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Meg Bavaro, we actually got a question for you as well. And we have, what is alpha and why is that important?
So alpha, I was going to.
We all know about the alpha male, and that's the first time.
Yeah, that's I was going to go with that, but I was like,
elevate the alpha female. Let's do it.
Yeah. So the alpha basically is the excess that, if you just buy an index, you're going to get the index, right? So the alpha is the additional benefit, I guess is the best word to say it, or additional return that you get by investing. So alpha is always important because it's usually more. You know, what more are you going to get by investing? And it could be equities, it could be fixed income, you know, it can be in a myriad of products, but what's the extra or make alpha be value add? How's that? What's the additional part that you get?
Right. So if you're expecting 2% return, whatever investment, and you got 3, you had a 1% alpha.
Yes.
All right. Just checking.
That's the easiest way to describe it. Yes.
I did have a few more questions that were submitted ahead of time, and ladies, keep them coming. This is phenomenal. I feel so overwhelmed. I just don't understand this stuff. Where do I start? So we can let both Megs take that away. We'll start with Megan Doscher.
Yeah. Well, I think attending today is a great first start or second start. And having the conversation, talk to a trusted friend. There are so many resources. So like the resources I shared, you know, have a conversation with a financial professional. They get it. Keep asking questions. I'm always someone who asks. And while I've been in the financial services industry for 25 years plus, I still ask a lot of questions. It doesn't always sink in. So it's not you, right? This is the challenge with a lot of insurance and wealth management companies trying to break down something that is intangible. You know, we're spending a lot of money and we're trusting, you know, people with our money. It's not as easy as buying like an iPhone that, you know, okay, I can hold this, right? You're buying a promise. So just keep asking questions. Everyone is asking questions. We need to do the same, and don't say you don't get it, because if you don't get it, you're not speaking to the right person. And there's plenty of resources out there that can help make that match for you.
I have to say, I didn't get it for a while, and that's okay. And it's those incremental steps, and you know, it just is a good place to start asking questions and becoming familiar. Megan?
And I would just say, and it's funny, Megan, I'm going to bring up, I know in your expo that you've got the checklist, et cetera, and charts, whether they go to your website or our website. I mean, there's a lot of different, I'm sure, Mara, it's on your website. It's a lot of different educational tools. And so I would say, do the research, look up online. There's a lot of good YouTube videos actually on it. But ultimately it's have the conversation and ask the questions. And one of the things we do really well as women is we will tend to ask a lot of people. And that's what is, you know, ask your friends, talk to them what they're doing. It doesn't hurt. You never know who's going to be involved or who might know something. And so it's always good to ask around of your peer group as well.
Women's Symposium is one of those safe places where every question is a great question. So if it's a beginner level or if you're very experienced, we're here to help you. I forgot to mention, as I have one more question that might be coming in, that Megan Doscher's company manages over $200 billion.
Yeah, assets under management.
Assets under management. Meg Bavero's company, PIMCO, manages close to $2 trillion in bonds. And I work for, in my day job, Wells Fargo Advisors, and they're managing a few trillion as well. And so the wealth and knowledge you have right here between these companies and the breadth and scope, we're here for you, ladies. You just tap our shoulders and we will give you all that money matters and everything we know. One of the questions that did come in was, what is the difference? And I believe this is for Meg Bavaro. Bavaro, what is the difference between an ETF and a mutual fund?
So, and actually, Maura, I'm going to actually pivot that back to you. I mean, I can explain what an ETF is, an exchange traded fund, but I'm going to pivot that back to you and let you answer that one, since that's part of your day job.
All right. So it is. There's mutual funds is a pool of investments. It can be cash, stocks, bonds. And so a mutual fund is where we all participate in the same investment. It's a mutual investment. And so there's a company, it could be PIMCO, that's trading these bonds all day long and trying to have that grow. And so at the end of the day, the basket's going to price. Did they trade well that day or not? And it could not, maybe it's not their fault. Maybe it's just the general economy risk or whatnot. But mutual fund will price at the end of the day. An exchange traded fund came out, gosh, right when I started in the business in the year 2000s, late 90s. And essentially, I'm going to use the S&P 500, which is the top 500 companies here in the United States. It's an index. And so it's a benchmark that we can kind of grade different investments off of. So we can buy the S&P ETF or an S&P mutual fund. So the ETF actually values throughout the trading day, where a mutual fund is going to price at the end of the day. Exchange traded funds trade like stocks. You can put limit orders on. I want to buy here, sell there, short it, maybe leverage it, whatever. So you could be a little bit more quick and nimble with ETFs, and they're usually most likely pegged to just meet an index or track an index, be the S&P, where a mutual fund historically is trying to beat the S&P index. And I think that's the difference between mutual funds and ETFs. You can accomplish the same goal. It's just about how are they traded and what are the fees involved. I think that was a good answer, but
well done. Yes.
I think it's really important as the day continues that if any women here have the need for questions, just tap any Megan, myself, instant message us. You're going to have our emails as a follow-up. Both of these smart, intelligent women are not in sales. They interact in the executive back part of their offices and support other folks in the business. So you're getting really the top of the chain when you get to ask questions here. I'm very, very ecstatic and thankful that you both made time to join us today. I think it might be a good time. Let's see here. I have all different widgets and we're all trying to figure it out, but I hope it's working. I know in the beginning, the presenter mode wasn't, but we did our question and answers. Now I'd love for you ladies to take the time. Don't forget to do our evaluation. And I put that in the text chat also. We're going to have the sponsor and partner booths open. I want to make a few announcements. We have our 6th annual Women's Symposium. Save the date for next March. It will be a hybrid in-person event, and I have a soft, almost a hard confirmation that we'll be doing that at DeVry, Long Beach. So thank you to Laura Knapp, one of our volunteers here at Women's Symposium, for offering her school for us. We will also be rolling out the Empower Web mentorship session right after this. It will be an open dialogue on the program. We are asking for you to participate. Essentially, I will give everyone here today a complimentary opportunity to join into the Empower Web mentorship program by WSSC, and we're asking that you invite one other individual with us. So at this point in time, I'll let you do some networking, which is almost like a speed dating. There'll be a little auto matching. And I do want to thank both Megan Dosher at Bright House and Meg Bavaro at PIMCO for being dedicated leaders in the space of financial knowledge and supporting women's empowerment. So thank you so much. I also want to give a shout out to the speakers, the volunteers that worked behind the scenes with the speakers, and hope that you enjoy the next 30 minutes or so. Please take the time to follow us on our social media as well, or take the time to volunteer with us. A lot of our news and what is going to be coming out will be getting out through social media and not necessarily email blasts. So please take the time to follow our links. And I hope that you all had a good presentation today, and a good, pretty much knowledgeable experience. So if you have any feedback or empowering things you'd like to share, I know that both Megs and myself are extremely passionate about the space, and just know that you will always have a home here at Women's Symposium. We are going national, so you don't have to live in SoCal to be involved, especially in our mentorship program. So at this point in time, we will be concluding our main stage, and I'll open it up to see if there's any other Q&A before we part ways. All right. Well, whoop, whoop, happy Women's Business Month. I know several of you here in the audience are business owners yourself. You have volunteered for us and been past volunteer program breakout session leaders or keynote speakers. So we are so happy to have you back after the last year or 3. I've seen you in there, and look forward to getting us engaged back again to impact women through just conversations that make sense about financial literacy, STEAM field awareness, and get more comfortable with those problem-solving dynamics that are sometimes challenging. So thank you so much for all of your time, and look forward to seeing you out at the expo. Visit the expo. Both Meg's presentations will be in their expo, plus additional resources. There was a lot in Meg Bavaro's presentation that you might want to go through and just kind of self-check and learn a little bit deeper on. Visit our website, and look forward to seeing you at our Empower Web Mentorship Program kickoff in 2 weeks, and our annual Women's Symposium next March. Thank you so much. We are concluded.
Bye.
We'll see you around. Thank you so much.